Right now, a day after the nationwide No Kings rally, President Trump faces new challenges abroad. We'll detail those in just a sec. Also, a 6-year-old is injured in a triple shooting. All that we know so far. That's all coming up on News 3 Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. We'll get to all those stories in just a second. Let's go ahead and get a look at your first one forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze, what should we expect?
Well, it's going to be a chilly night out there as temperatures are already beginning to slip into those low 30s around Black River Falls. We're in the upper 30s in Watoma. We've since cooled into those low 40s from the Dell stretching into Prairie du Chien. Still holding on to those mid 40s in Dane County as well as there in Monroe, so parts of Greene County. But we are quickly cooling on off. Low 40s on the western side of Dane County, mid 40s on the eastern side. So with the clear skies and the dry conditions and the light northerly winds, it is going to be a chilly night. And that's why we've got another round of frost advisory stretching from the Illinois border all the way north into the Green Bay, Watoma, or Wausau area, excuse me. So that goes from 2 a.m. through 8 a.m. on Monday. Don't be surprised if you are waking up to some patchy frost, which means definitely want to send the kids off to school with a jacket because it is going to be a chilly start, but sunny, and we're back into the 60s by the mid-afternoon. Breezy as well, but clouds start to move in as we head further into your Monday afternoon because rain is expected Monday night. We're going to track out how long the rain sticks around for and what the rest of next week is going to look like, and here's a hint, it's going to be cooler and more fall-like. We'll take a look at all that in the full forecast.
All right, sounds good, Blaze. We'll see you in just a bit. And if you, for whatever reason, miss the full forecast, you can always track the forecast for yourself on the First Warn Weather app. It is hourly planners, road conditions, and even radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather. President Trump is headed back to Washington, D.C. after spending the weekend at his Florida estate. His return comes as the administration announced U.S. forces had killed 3 men and destroyed another boat suspected of running drugs in the Caribbean Sea. CBS's Willie James Inman is in West Palm Beach, Florida, traveling with the president.
Today, the Trump administration released footage of a strike that took place on October 17th. It's the 7th known U.S. strike on alleged drug vessels since last month, which have killed over 30 people. The military actions are causing tensions between the U.S., Venezuela, and now Colombia. Colombia's President Gustavo Petro accused the U.S. of committing murder in a post on social media, alleging a U.S. strike in September killed a Colombian fisherman. President Trump responded calling Petro an illegal drug leader and says he would cut off U.S. aid to Colombia. The president says the military strikes are necessary to stop the flow of illegal drugs.
The boats get hit, and you see that fentanyl all over the ocean.
Some lawmakers are questioning the legality of the military actions.
I do worry about the legal authorities or lack thereof that the United States military has to conduct these kind of strikes.
The idea that they're coming here is like, it's a huge assumption, and really shouldn't you have to present some proof?
Also this weekend, organizers of the No Kings protest say 7 million people turned out across the country to rally against President Trump and his policies. Trump wasted no time trolling the protests with posts on social media, including one depicting himself flying a fighter jet and dumping brown sludge on protesters.
And today marks day 19 of the government shutdown, and the House is out this week, and both sides show no signs of backing down, but the Senate could take another vote later this week. Willie James Inman, CBS News, West Palm Beach, Florida.
In Janesville, police arrested a man Saturday who they say was driving drunk near a No Kings protest and became combative with officers. Police had closed South Main Street to vehicle traffic between East Court Street and St. Lawrence Avenue for the protest, which was held at the Marvin Roth Community Pavilion near the Rock County Courthouse. At one point, a 48-year-old Janesville man reportedly drove up to the courthouse area and demanded access to a closed parking garage. The man had no association with the protest or its participants. Police say he verbally berated officers and became aggressive. When officers tried to arrest him, the man allegedly resisted, and one officer suffered a minor hand injury. He now faces several charges. Rock County officials are investigating after a crash hurt 4 people Friday evening. Multiple agencies responded to the area of South U.S. Highway 51 by West Tarrington Drive just after 5 p.m. Their initial investigation showed a car going north crossed the center line and hit another vehicle going south. 4 people total across the 2 vehicles were injured. They were treated at local hospitals. The driver of the southbound vehicle was seriously injured, but thankfully his injuries are non-life-threatening. The crash is still under investigation. Milwaukee police are investigating a triple shooting involving a 6-year-old child that happened near the Marquette University campus shortly after 8 p.m. on Saturday. According to Milwaukee police, 3 people were injured in the shooting near 19th State, including a 6-year-old, a 23-year-old victim, and a 38-year-old victim. All 3 suffered non-fatal injuries and are expected to survive. Milwaukee police are continuing to search for suspects as no arrests have been made at this time. The UW-Madison Police Department reported 32 people were ejected from Camp Randall on Saturday during Wisconsin's loss to the Ohio State Buckeyes. Among those ejected were 17 UW students. UW-Madison Police reported there were 26 first aid calls and 20 arrests additionally, and 20 citations were issued, and 16 paramedic calls were made as well. Some road closures to be mindful of if you live near or you travel frequently near the north side of Madison. Railroad crossing repairs will soon close one of the busiest streets in the area. Beginning October 27th, Packers Avenue will be closed to all vehicle traffic at the crossing. That's just west of the Dane County Regional Airport. Repairs will last about 4 days as long as weather permits. Signs will be out to direct drivers to detour using North Sherman Avenue and Aberg Avenue. Access to the Dane County Regional Airport will stay open via the Darwin Road from the north and International Lane from the south. Madison Housing Week continues tomorrow with 2 new online events. The first is an online seminar that helps showcase how your home could become great investments for your family and your children. That one begins at 11 a.m. Monday morning, and you can visit Madison Housing Week to register. The second event showcases how churches around the area can help provide housing to those in need. The virtual event for that begins at 6. You can also find that on Madison Housing Week's website. Coming up next on News 3 Now at 10, Blaze returns with a complete look of your First One forecast. And the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is being tested just a week in, while strikes were launched in Gaza today. And robotic farming increases amid immigration crackdown. We show you how the industry is changing.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Thank you for staying with us. A truce teeters in the Middle East after a day of violence between Israel and Hamas. Israel says Hamas violated the week-old ceasefire with multiple attacks. CBS's Deborah Pata is in East Jerusalem with the latest.
In an instant, hope was killed today, just as Palestinians had stopped holding their breath and started to dream again. Families came out to enjoy the weather at the seaside cafe when an Israeli strike shattered the peace, and the blood-soaked scenes they thought were a thing of the past were back. It was all children who were killed, said Rafat al-Makid. Where is President Trump? Where are those who guaranteed this deal? Hospitals once again filled up with the injured as the Israeli military launched strikes they say were aimed at thwarting ceasefire violations by Hamas. And it provided this IDF footage they say shows armed Hamas fighters moving towards Israeli troops stationed behind the agreed line. For civilians eking out a life amid the rubble of Gaza, the threat of a return to war is too much to bear. Already on their knees, so many are making do with almost nothing in their hollowed-out ruins. If the war comes back, Tarhe Al-Kafana said, then that is the end of Gaza. Deborah Pata, CBS News, East Jerusalem.
Gas prices are inching lower. AAA says the current national average for a price of regular gas could reach the $3 mark for the first time in nearly 4 years. In the past week, the average has dropped more than 5 cents to a gallon, that gallon price being $3.05. The travel agency says several factors are behind the drop, including lower demand, falling crude oil prices, and a cheaper winter blend. Also, hurricane season has not impacted oil refineries or drilling along the Gulf. The Federal Aviation Administration is giving Boeing the green light to boost production of its 737 MAX jets. The FAA had capped output at 38 planes a month following a door panel blowout on an Alaskan Airlines flight back in January of 2024. Friday, regulators said Boeing can now increase its production to 42 aircraft per month. The agency says inspectors conducted extensive reviews of Boeing's production lines and will continue to direct oversight. Boeing CEO says the company plans gradual increases every 6 months, each requiring FAA approval. Boeing thanked regulators and suppliers, saying safety and quality remains top priorities. Fertility treatments could soon cost less under a new federal initiative. Thursday, the White House announced 3 common in vitro fertilization drugs could be sold at discounts of more than 70% through a government-backed website launching next year. The plan also includes incentives for drug makers to expand production in the U.S. During the announcement of the initiative, President Trump encouraged employers to offer more fertility benefits. The proposal stopped short of Trump's campaign promise for universal free coverage. Harvests are at risk in California. Part of the reason, immigration raids that have left as many as 70% of field workers too scared to even show up. CBS's Itai Hot reports on how some farmers are getting help from an unexpected source.
In California's Central Valley, known as America's fruit basket, picking strawberries can break more than just a sweat. But for farmer Larry Jacobs, who spent 4 decades growing some of the most sought-after chives, basil, and tomatoes, the biggest struggle isn't growing crops. It's finding enough hands to work the fields, a challenge made even harder by recent immigration raids.
We've had some people who resign because of the changes. Say, hey, we're just going to go back to Mexico.
Because they're too afraid?
Yeah, yes.
With more than 85,000 farm jobs left unfilled each year, according to the U.S. Department of Labor, small growers like Jacobs are turning to high-tech. From punching holes for seedlings to shaking nuts from trees and even scorching weeds with flames, these robots are saving small farms from going under. But even though these machines are ready to work, the law isn't. In California, state regulations prohibit the use of autonomous machines on farms, in most cases requiring a human to stay close by.
At some point soon, I think you'll be able to farm from your office.
Tyler Naide, CEO of Bonsai Robotics, the company behind these machines, says these regulations were written back in the 1970s.
There's a huge push right now to rewrite this legislation based around autonomy, because we now know things about it.
With the average farmer now 58, Jacobs hopes automation might plant the seed for a new generation of growers.
If you can take the grunge work out of it and make it interesting with the technology, that's just going to create a lot of excitement. It's already happening.
And maybe, just maybe, help cultivate a whole new crop of farmers. Itai Hot, CBS News, Watsonville, California.
Now let's go ahead and get a look at your first one forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze.
It's going to be a chilly night out there. Jalen and folks at home, already a few of our counties underneath that frost advisory set to go into effect Monday morning. And by the afternoon, that maybe possible frost is going to be a thing of the past because we're set to climb into the upper 60s, if not the low 70s to start off next week. But that's all ahead of a system that is going to be bringing us not only cooler temperatures, but rainy and breezy conditions starting Monday evening through probably Wednesday afternoon at the latest. So here's a look at our forecast. Overnight lows. Some of us have already gotten into those 30s right now, but most of us are still in the 40s further to the south. We'll eventually settle into those upper 30s, if not the low 40s tonight, underneath clear to mostly clear conditions. Looking ahead to Monday, again, starting off not only chilly, but on the sunny side by the afternoon hours, and with the southerly winds, we're back into the upper 60s to low 70s. But clouds are going to increase out of the west as that next system starts to move on in. It's the one coming out of the Dakotas that's going to take its time moving through the Midwest, to say the least. So again, becoming partly sunny as we go throughout Monday. Southerly winds really going to ramp up those temperatures into the upper 60s to low 70s. Monday evening, overnight into early Tuesday, we get our first round of rain. But because of how this system is going to move, that rain is essentially going to wrap itself around and then fall over us again as we go into Tuesday. Tuesday night into Wednesday, the heaviest rain moves eastward, but a scattered shower or two can't be ruled out. Not to mention our winds will start to die down too as we go into Wednesday. So topping out probably in the mid 30s sometime early Wednesday, and then they'll die down as we go further into Wednesday afternoon and staying less windy Thursday and Friday. But Monday through Tuesday, expect those wind gusts anywhere between 25 to 30, 35 miles per hour as the system slowly moves its way through the Midwest. And then we look ahead to the following work week. Jalen, I was just looking at the latest model data, and they're starting to agree that maybe in the days leading up to Halloween, another system gets stuck in the Midwest, which could bring us some rain and some cooler temperatures in time for Halloween. We're going to keep it obviously a close eye on that. But in the meantime, we're looking at a drier second half to next week after a windy, cold, and rainy start to this next work week. Overnight lows in the 40s and 30s, so it may be time to bring in those plants. I think they've had a good run. Mine certainly have. We're going to have to bring them inside, and we don't have room. We've got too many plants.
So what are you
inside.
going to do then?
I don't know. We'll have to find room, I guess.
Fair enough. Are you going to have to like start putting like the hooks on the ceiling?
I might, yeah. I've got a pitcher plant, and my cats have chewed it to death, essentially. But there's one pitcher that's still going, and I'll find a little bug that
I can adopt
has treaded
them
too
for
far
you.
in.
I don't have any plants in my place, so
yeah.
maybe I can,
We've got a nice snake plant that I rescued.
Okay.
And then a pepper plant that has one little pepper.
One?
Just one.
Okay.
It's too small to cook.
If you need my help, just let me know.
Right.
You're going to have to like kind of teach me though.
All right.
It's not my area of expertise.
Just water.
Just, okay.
Yeah.
We're good then.
All right.
All right. Well, sounds good. Thank you, Blaze. Coming up in sports, the Packers are out west taking on the Cardinals. Highlights coming up next. The Packers were out west in Glendale, Arizona today, taking on the Cardinals in an important NFC matchup. We head to the start of the first quarter. 3rd and goal, and Jacoby Brissett drops back, and Micah Parsons gets home, his first of 3 sacks on the day. And then we head to the 4th. Cardinals up 7. Jordan Love with the play fake to Josh Jacobs. Love would buy some time, and then he finds Tucker Kraft for the touchdown. We have a tie game. This one was going back and forth all day. Then later in the 4th, Cards up 3, 1st and goal. You know what's next. Love hands it off to Josh Jacobs, and he punches it in for the go-ahead score. Again, this was a huge back-and-forth game, but the Pack will go on to win it 27-23, bringing their record to 4-1-1. We are inching closer to basketball season, and for the Wisconsin Badgers, that means getting excited. They're heading into the season ranked 24th in the country, and today was their annual red and white scrimmage kicking off the new season. Our Nash Dara was there and brings us the highlights.
Badger basketball is almost back. We are just around 3 weeks away from opening tip-off for Bucky, who comes in as the 24th ranked team in the nation. However, earlier today at the Kohl Center was the red and white scrimmage. Although it was just an exhibition game, it was the perfect time for the Badgers to get their feet under themselves. The red and white scrimmage was the first action we have seen of this new and improved Badger team since their heartbreaking loss to BYU in the round of 32 last season. But with all of that in the past, this scrimmage was the official turning page to the Badger basketball 2025-2026 campaign.
All in all, obviously, first time getting out in front of everybody, uniforms on, those things, there was a lot of positive things, and now we got to, it's the last time we have to compete against each other in front of everybody else. The next time is against another opponent. So there's a lot to like with this group, but the thing that I like even more is there's a lot we got to get better at, which is exciting because it puts the ceiling much higher for this group.
We're just here to compete, and that's what I want to see. I want to see how we compete, man. I think we're going to do well.
The Badger regular season doesn't kick off until November 3rd, right back here at the Kohl Center. But until then, there are still 2 more exhibition games, one at the Pfizer Forum against the Oklahoma Sooners, and then one here in Madison against UW-Platteville. At the Kohl Center, Nash Dara, News 3 Sports.
Tip-off for opening night is at 7 p.m. at the Kohl Center with the Badgers taking on the Campbell Fighting Camels. That was Nash Dara reporting. Thank you. And join us tomorrow for our biggest huddle show yet. Andrew will be joined by Badger legend and Pro Football Hall of Famer Joe Thomas. The live taping begins tomorrow at 7 p.m. at Jay's Bar. That's it for sports. A final check of your First One forecast is coming up when we return. And finally tonight, 50 is already a key birthday, but one Michigan nurse is taking it all the more special by meeting a big personal goal. This weekend, Michelle is running her 50th marathon in as many states. 15 years ago, she decided she'd run either a half or full marathon in all 50 states. Running in the Detroit Free Press Marathon today completes that goal, but she says her next steps are already in the works. Michelle's considering running abroad next. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, how many like flyer miles and points do you think she's accumulated over the years?
Probably many.
So that's why she's like, I got to go abroad. I got to use up
Might as well.
all these points.
Make a vacation out of it. Do the little run, the little whatever, and then rest for the week at a cool place.
That would be smart.
That would be smart. It is going to be a breezy and chilly start to the work week, at least in the morning hours. Upper 30s to low 40s. Send the kiddos off with a jacket. We are into the upper 60s to low 70s by the afternoon. Partly sunny. And that's all ahead of some rain that is going to be moving in later Monday evening, overnight, sticking with us on Tuesday and wrapping up by Wednesday. So we're looking at low 50s for highs Tuesday, Wednesday. The winds die down. We say goodbye to the rain and the cloud cover Thursday, Friday of the upcoming work week. So if your trash day is Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, I would say Monday you'll be, well, I don't know. You probably won't be fine. But maybe we just run that out right as the trash trash truck?
Truck? I think it's a truck.
Yeah, right as it's coming to pick it up, so all the litter doesn't go everywhere.
So what you're saying is they just got to like be peeking out the windows if like an Amazon delivery's on the way?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And then just take the bag and whoosh.
Throw it in yourself.
Yeah.
All right, well, sounds good. Thank you, Blaze. Seinfeld is up next. We'll see you here tomorrow.